Atlanta, Georgia. Turner Field and the Atlanta Braves hosting the New York Mets as the second half of the schedule kicks off with a 4-game set. Atlanta on top, 61-32, best record in all of Major League Baseball. Mets have dropped 16 of 23, 40 and 53. But they will have a say in what happens down the stretch in this race. 69 games left, 34 for the Mets against the NL East. 10 of them coming against Atlanta. The starting pitchers tonight, Steve Traxel's had a lot of success lately against the Atlanta Braves, coming off a rough outing against Philadelphia. He was rocked for 7 runs in an inning and 2/3, but against the Atlanta Braves, Steve Traxel has won 3 of his last 4 starts. Comes in with a record of 8-6, a 4.61 ERA, and when he keeps it in the ballpark, he can be tough. Got it down low there against Julio Franco. Greg Maddux, meanwhile, not exactly the Greg Maddux of old against the rest of the league, but against the Mets he is 1-0, and the 2 games started a 1.50 ERA as he starts this one tonight for Atlanta. The Braves in the past, the best ERA in all of baseball, 12 straight years, but this year they're 9th with a 4.39 collectively. Traxel career 7-9, 19 starts. Maddux has made hay against the Mets, 30-16 in his 56 starts. Meanwhile, the starting lineup for the Mets includes 3 rookies at the top: Jose Reyes, Duncan, and Phillips. Phillips has been hot in the last week, 9 of 25. Reyes 8 of 22 at .364. Floyd, Wigginton, Perez, Wilson, Sanchez, Traxel. For Cal DeRosa, Sheffield, and Chipper Jones, who is a career .349 hitter against the Mets with 29 home runs in the middle of the lineup. Well, our hip injury report includes Al Leiter back from that knee surgery, minor knee surgery. He's ready to pitch on Sunday here in the 4th and final game of this series against the Atlanta Braves. I talked to him. He feels real good. He's going to throw a little bit tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be ready to roll on Sunday for the New York Mets. Now, the All-Star game in Chicago on Tuesday night was a thriller. Now, I know you're not going to believe it, but it was. In past years, didn't mean anything. Well, it meant something this time, and certainly Edgar Martinez showed his guts. He took a ball in the head from Jason Schmidt, got up and continued to play. Later on, Todd Helton gave the National League their first lead of the game. A bomb off Hasekawa that gave the National League a 2-1 lead. They had a 5-1 advantage in the 6th inning when Garrett Anderson teed off on Woody Williams, and Anderson would have a tremendous night. We'll have more on that a little bit later on. This was one of the big blows here as well against Billy Wagner from the left-hand side. Jason Giambi parks one. He just smokes that one into the bleachers, and the American League was on their way to the biggest comeback in All-Star game history. It was capped by Hank Blaylock, a big 2-run bomb off Gagne, the Dodger closer who's been unhittable, and the American League had a lead. Keith Folk got for Cal as he flew to deep right field, right in front of the fence to end it, and the American League team won it to take home field advantage away from the National League. It was scheduled to be a National League home field advantage in the World Series, but no, American League wins it 7-6. We'll be back. More of Geico Mets on Deck coming up in just a moment. A little more reflection on the All-Star game as we get ready for the Braves and the Mets here in Atlanta. Welcome to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Henry Aaron once played his baseball, and so did Robin Yount and Paul Molitor and Raleigh Fingers in the glory days of the Milwaukee Brewers. And that's where the Mets have come for the second leg of this most recent road trip after losing 3 in a row at St. Louis, hoping to get it turned around. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino with you. This is Geico Mets on Deck, and these Milwaukee Brewers are nothing like the Robin Yount or Paul Molitor Brewers. This team, coming off the worst year in franchise history, 106 losses, has also lost 5 in a row, have the Mets. They've lost 8 of 9, as a matter of fact. The Brewers hitting just 172 during that period of time, only 27 hits, and under first-year manager Ned Yost are off to the kind of start that have not wowed their fans. In fact, the Montreal sweep of 3 most recently only drew 34,000 total here in Milwaukee. A look at what's happened to the Mets in the last 3 days. In fact, going back to Sunday's doubleheader loss to Arizona, breaks not going their way, not good baseball. But on yesterday in St. Louis, this one really hurt because the Mets came back from 5-1 down to tie it, nearly take the lead, yet lost the game. A look at the highlights, beginning with the Mets up 1-0 in the 5th inning in this matinee with over 30,000 looking on in St. Louis. Brett Tomko, the pitcher, hit Steve Traxel for a 3-2 pitch, a doubled on the right field line. It got by Roger Cedeno, and that gave the Cards a 2-1 lead. Art Howe did not like what he was seeing. Later on, Scott Rowland empties the bases. He's got 23 runs batted in on the season. Joe McEwing's bases loaded drive nearly went out into the bullpen. The Mets thought it did. Even McEwing thought it did. Tied the game at 5, the Mets did, and then in the 10th inning, it was Jim Edmonds with an opposite field homer, almost the same location, to give the Cardinals the sweep and a 6-5 victory over the New York Mets. A heartbreaker.
Leiter throws, it's lined down the left field line and curving foul again. That one started out like it might go deep, and somebody got up there from their seat, ran about 5 seats over and made a nice snag.
Again, Leiter, though, making a good pitch. That pitch inside, and he's, I'm sure, not happy with the fact that Gonzalez was able to stay alive by hitting those foul balls. This pitch is also a very good pitch in the inside part of the plate.
Barehanded catch made out there in left field by one of the fans tonight. So Al Leiter shaking off Mike Piazza as they try to come to some agreement here on how to get Gonzalez out. Change up line to center, base hit. Millar will score. Redmond goes from first to third. What a great at-bat. That time by Alex Gonzalez.
And it was that kind of a at-bat. Leiter shook off what I would assume was a fastball, and he went to the slider, and the slider right down the middle, and Gonzalez drilled it in the center field. That's really a good at-bat.
Bring Bruce Avon to the plate. He popped to short his first time up. He's been riding a hot streak of sorts.
Yeah, he has been hot. He's hit in 22 straight games that he has started.
At a clip of almost 350. Leiter delivers. It's lined into left field. And it's 2-0 Florida as Agbayani runs it down. The throw comes on to Robin Ventura. So Bruce Avon jumped on the first pitch and singled to left. Gonzalez moves to second. Redmond, who walked, scores to give the Marlins a 2-0 lead.
And the 2 runs coming with 2 men out. Fastball inside and hit hard to left field. And the Marlins out in front.
Bruce Avon, his 26th hit here at home. 380 hitter here at home. He's only been up 68 times, but enjoys hitting in this ballpark, obviously. Here's Kevin Orie. Came in at 264. He grounded to third his first at-bat. So trouble getting the final out for Al Leiter after 2 strikeouts, 2 base hits. And that pitch is just inside, ball 1. Leiter trying to win his 5th straight start in the month of June. Over 500 now after a rocky month of April and May. The Mets trying to stop a 2-game losing streak. 1-0 pitch. And it's low, ball 2.
Orie at one time a Cub player and certainly was considered to be the heir apparent for third base for the Cubs, but then he went into a batting slump and got traded away after being sent down to the minors.
What else is new for Cubs third baseman, right? Ron Santo, and then who else? You know, every year it seems like they try to come up with another. Ron Say there for a while, but another third baseman in Chicago that didn't make it. Here's the pitch, and that is high and outside, and the bases are loaded. So 4 pitches, 4 balls to Kevin Orie. And maybe some concern for the New York Mets. There's some activity now in the bullpen. As Dave Wallace looks on, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Pat Mahomes has gotten up. He's the long relief man these days. Turk Wendell standing by. Bases loaded for Preston Wilson. 255 hitter to begin the night. Struck out his first time.
The one thing you want here is to make sure he keeps the ball in the ballpark. Wilson with 15 home runs could break this game open.
He has not had an outstanding June at 224, but has hit 4 homers this month. Here's the pitch. And just misses the inside corner. Leiter's been working that inside corner, hasn't gotten calls there.
I'll tell you one thing, he's had 2 pitches that were awfully close, called balls. And that's his bread and butter. He likes to work right-hand batters inside.
1-0 delivery. Way inside, and Wilson just got out of the way. Mike Piazza's going to go out and talk to Al Leiter. He has thrown 6 straight balls after back-to-back singles by Alex Gonzalez and Bruce Avon.
They gave up a double to start the inning, then walked Redmond on a 3-2 pitch, then struck out 2, and had a chance to get out of the inning. Gonzalez fouled off 6 3-2 pitches and then singled to drive in a run. And then the base hit by Avon, and now the walk to Ori.
Looked as if Robin Ventura and Piazza were just trying to get Al to slow down, get back in his normal rhythm. He looked a little anxious, perhaps trying to get 3 strikes with 1 pitch. So 2-0, Preston Wilson ahead in the count. And right down the middle, he takes it for a strike. This is the 8th hitter of the inning. Over 30 pitches by Leiter, and the bases are loaded. High in the strike zone, out of the strike zone, and swung on and missed.
And that was the same type of pitch that Wilson struck out on his first time up. High and out of the strike zone.
And he's still upset about swinging at something that was almost unhittable. 2-2. And he fouls it off. That was a better swing by Preston Wilson. Got a piece of it. Now at 2-2 after he takes a swing at that pitch way out of the strike zone. Is the hitter suddenly defensive?
Well, you really have to be defensive here with 2 strikes. That's the main thing about hitting. You want to make contact. But Wilson is not a disciplined hitter, not like his dad.
And he struck him out. Leiter got the inside corner finally, and he breathes a sigh of relief. Big inning for the Florida Marlins. 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave the bases loaded and lead 2-0. Fran Healy when we return.
1-0 coming. Runner going to throw down to second, and there's no chance. Landon Burt got a great start. And the throw down from Brent Logan, not nearly in time.
He got an absolutely fantastic jump from first base, and that was not stolen off the catcher. This base is stolen off the pitcher. For being such a big pitcher, Cooley's he's kind of slow to the plate. It was actually a pitch out, so they knew he was going to go. It just didn't get the job done. It's a good slide.
The 6th steal of the season for Landon Burt. He's been very effective. 6 of 7 now for him. And the Aztecs had their leadoff man at second with nobody out. Here comes a 2-0 pitch now to Zawatsky. Way inside, nearly hit him.
3-0, he should be taken here. You know, right now as a hitter, your job is to move that runner over to third base. At 3-0, you'll get the same pitch, 3-1, so he should be taken.
So Cooley's got himself in a little trouble here in the bottom of the first. 3-0 was at the letters for strike 1.
That's a tough pitch. You know, technically, rule book, that's a strike. No, I don't know. Let's hope he calls that all game.
I like the rule book. It moves the game if you call the game by the rule book. Here's the 3-1. Caught on and drilled hard to right field. Giving chase Patrick Byrne. He won't get to it. It's off the wall. Byrne had to hold up to see if the ball would be caught, and he is at third base. A ringing double by Lance Zawatsky, but Patrick Byrne, who might have decoyed him a little bit, kept Landon Burt from scoring.
I'm not sure what happened, but you know, base running from second base, Burt really just I think he was thinking too much. In that situation, you take a couple steps off the bag. I don't think he deked anybody. I think just base running wise, it wasn't good base running. Look how high that pitch is. Great swing. Got his hands inside the ball. That thing is at his chin. But when you're 3-1 and you're ahead like that, you're looking dead red for dead fastball. I mean, why not get it out there?
So Zawatsky has his third double of the season. Kind of robbed of his second run batted in, though. And this is James Guerrero, the shortstop, with runners at second and third and nobody out. Cooley's first pitch is a little bit inside, 1-0.
Middle infield is playing back right here. They got to knock it down, try to keep this inning from being a big inning. Guerrero's trying to still move him over. It's get him over, get him in. You can see the middle infielders right still playing back. It's a good swing.
1-0 is cut on a miss, 1-1. Guerrero did some playing in the Alaska League in the summer for the Fairfax Gold Panners. You ever play in the Alaska League?
I never
did.
did.
That was up sort of in your neck of the woods up there in Spokane.
I never did, yeah.
A few thousand miles north. Here's the one. Yeah, I think so. Here's the 1-1. It's hit dead center field. It is playable. Jake Stewart is under it. Just in front of the warning track. He makes the catch, the tag, and headed to third easily. Standing up is Zawatsky. Landon Burke scores the first run ever at Petco Park. And the Aztecs have a 1-0 lead.
He did his job. Great base running by Zawatsky at second base to tag up and get to third. Again, the idea is to get him over to third base and get the runner in and take what the defense gives you. Good job by the center fielder right here getting behind the ball. But Zawatsky was smart enough to tag up. Even though it's in center, he can still get there. This is a big park.
There's a lot of outfield space out there. The dimensions down the lines are not deep. The alleys got to drive the ball pretty well. Here is Riley Embry, first baseman, another left-hand hitter for Tony Gwynn with a runner at third and one down. And San Diego State with a 1-0 lead. Cooley catches the inside corner that time to even the count at 1-1.
It's interesting to see what Noble's doing here. He's got his middle infield back. You know, the runner on third, less than 2 outs. Sometimes it's worth the risk to stay out of the big inning to bring your infield in.
1-1 coming. It's swung on and foul back. And a couple of bounces up near the booth where we are situated, right behind home plate. So 1-2 count now on Riley Embry. Now here's a kid who was a walk-on, which is kind of unusual. You usually find your squad loaded with scholarship players, but occasionally you find a walk-on makes it into the lineup. And here's Riley Embry.
He's that diamond in the rough.
1-2 is fouled back and down near the San Diego State dugout. You see all the players standing up. There's no sitting down in this game, Kevin, by the way.
That's a big difference between college and pros right there. In Major League Baseball, you sit whenever you get a chance, but in college, you're always standing.
Well, we wondered in looking at the dugouts how the players would play it for the best view of the home plate. And now we see Houston's hanging right over that railing. A few of their players standing up. But San Diego State is on top of the top step as they've got a rally going and a 1-0 lead.
Embry being a walk-on is also a 3.9 student. I just think that's amazing to be able to do that and play baseball.
Here's the 1-2, chopped to second base. The runner will score. There's the man is safe at first on a wild throw on a routine play that time.
That just kills it right there. I mean, Houston needed an out so bad. And it's really good.
The lights are on. Tonight, years of hard work come to fruition. San Diego will once again be sprinkled with baseball as they celebrate the birth of their new jewel. The Padres Petco Park, christening the new site of the University of Houston Cougars and the San Diego State Aztecs. Who better to break in the ballpark than San Diego's own Tony Gwynn? Gwynn was a two-sport standout for the Aztecs before he went on to have one of the greatest careers in Major League history. And now he hopes his success will wear off on the young men he coaches. Tonight, their challenge, the Cougars of Houston. A team that went all the way to the Super Regionals last year and lost to interstate rival and eventual national champs, the Rice Owls. Seats will fill for the first time as college baseball takes center stage.
first of a sold-out crowd into Petco Park on its inaugural game here on College Sports Television tonight. An NCAA record to be set as the Houston Cougars take on the San Diego State Aztecs at Petco Park. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino with you. Welcome aboard for CSTV's coverage of college baseball. One of a number of games we'll be bringing you throughout the spring and summer featuring the best in college baseball around the country. And I'll be joined by Kevin Stocker, the former Major Leaguer, the former National League champion with the Philadelphia Phillies throughout the season to bring us college baseball. And Kevin, it couldn't be a better night for San Diego and for college baseball here tonight.
Well, this is certainly a real treat for these college players who are used to playing in front of 1,000, maybe 2,000. And to them right now, this is a big league game. 42,500 plus expected tonight. Cole Bruce of the Houston Cougars should provide offense as Houston, a team that went to the Super Regionals 3 of the last 4 years, wants to go back again. They've gotten off to a bit of a slow start. They have. You know what? He's a hitter without a position. He's providing all the offense right now for them. But for a team who has played 13 consecutive games against nationally ranked teams, he's what they need, a big shot in the arm. He's a senior, and on the other side of the diamond, a freshman, Brock Ungrick, a three-time All-Stater from right around here, has really opened some eyes. Oh, he certainly has, and he has just been killing the ball. He's one of those guys that lives and breathes baseball. He just loves it. And right now, to an offense that's been struggling, he is certainly upbeat. Tony will get these guys going. That's what he did his whole career. It won't be a problem. Ungrick hasn't hit a homer yet, but maybe tonight. The very first game played here on Tony Gwynn Drive, Petco Park, home of the Padres, is on CSTV. Houston and San Diego State coming up next.
This is Mike Crispino. Welcome aboard. Join me now for the final spring training edition of Yankees Magazine. This week we get to know the newest Yankee prodigy. We know he can throw a football, but Drew Henson will make his living hitting the baseball.
My fondest memories growing up were playing baseball in the summer and going to the park and playing all day.
With opening day around the corner, we break down the 2001 Yanks.
This team has so many players and so many ways that we win that that's the special thing about this team is it's so many different people helping us win in different ways.
And Michael Kay is down in Tampa. He'll try to figure out if this team is good enough to four-peat.
Yeah, we're good enough, no doubt about it. But the game is still played on the field.
Catch it all next on Yankees Magazine. Yankees Magazine is brought to you by Sybase.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yankees Magazine. I'm Mike Crispino. As you can see, final preparations are being made here at Yankee Stadium for opening day, which is right around the corner. Even the grass is starting to turn green. As you know, the Yankees are always thinking ahead, planning for the future. And they took a step to solidify their future in the infield for years to come, they hope, by recently luring Drew Henson, the Michigan quarterback, back to pinstripes. Henson now gives up the football for his first love, baseball. Tonight on Yankees Scorecard, Big Brother is watching. Andy talks about Darryl Strawberry and who's at fault for the Yankees' slow start. Mike Stanley enjoys a career night to relieve the pressure for at least one game. And Ernie Harwell, a day in his life, one of the game's great voices. It's all coming up next on the AT&T Yankee Scorecard, which is coming to you live from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, Michigan. Game 3 of 4 here on MSG between the Tigers and the New York Yankees in this weekday series. It's a perfect night for baseball. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino for Yankee Scorecard. Dave Cohen and Jim Cottle join us, of course, for the game action. But the big story, George Steinbrenner is in town for the second night. We know Detroit's a lovely city, so George has decided to stick around for another night. And tonight he finally had something to say about the rumors and reports that have been coming out. There's some published reports today in the Jersey papers about Darryl Strawberry perhaps being a New York Yankee by this weekend. We don't know about that, but we did talk to George about what he thinks about Darryl Strawberry's possible productivity as a major league player. So you think he can still be productive then? Is that why you're even having a conversation about him?
I wouldn't want to say anybody's done at age 33.
Despite his problems.